John, old YouTuber. It's soon 8 p.m. So let's continue before I'm getting too tired. So I got 108 liters cola. I got from this legal discount store. It's 8 p.m. in a few minutes. I have some garbage go to my kitchen. So let's read this Windows, this PDF about Microsoft Windows. But I did eat some soup, and I did pay my bills yesterday. It's Friday the 2nd December today. Yesterday, 1st December, I did pay my rent apartment. My $1,000 to my payment and debts. Yes, let's just continue. I'm tired, but I'm not going to sleep 8 p.m. in the evening, because then I will wake up 3 p.m. in the night. Cannot do that. We cannot sleep now. Let's read this, but that's 26 pages. So, but then I can charge the camcorder tonight. I will continue. Probably should do the Windows. The Windows 1, 2, 3. Windows 95, but I will look at that tomorrow because I need to download a fresh copy. I don't do that tonight. So, but maybe I cannot read it finished tonight because I'm tired and it's 8 p.m. But we could do it like 1 hour to like 9 p.m.
Microsoft Windows. Windows logo and wordmark, 2021.svg. Developer Microsoft Source Model Closed Source. Source available, through Shared Source Initiative. Initial release November 20, 1985. Latest release 22H2, 10.0.22621.900. The 29th of November, 2022, 1. Plus or minus, latest preview release preview channel 22H2, 10.0.22621.900, November 29, 2022, 2, 3. Plus or minus, beta channel 22H2, 10.0.22623.1020, November 28, 2022, 4. Plus or minus. Windows is a group of several proprietary graphical operating system families developed and marketed by Microsoft. Each family caters to a certain sector of the computing industry, for example, Windows NT for consumers, Windows Server for servers, and Windows IO for embedded systems. Defunct Windows families include Windows 9X, Windows Mobile, and Windows Phone. The first version of Windows was released on November 20, 1985, as a graphical operating system shell for MS-DOS in response to the growing interest in graphical user interfaces, GUIs. 7. Windows is the most popular desktop operating system in the world, with 75% market share as of April 2022 according to StatCounter.8. However, Windows is not the most used operating system when including both mobile and desktop OSes, due to Android's massive growth. 9. As of September 2022, the most recent version of Windows is Windows 11 for consumer PCs and tablets, Windows 11 Enterprise for corporations, and Windows Server 2022 for servers. Contents. Genealogy by marketing role. Version history early versions. Windows 3.x. Windows 9x. Windows NT version history early versions. Windows NT 3.1//3.5/3.51/4/40/2000. Windows XP. Windows Vista. Windows 7. Windows 8 and 8.1. Windows 10. Dev Channel 10.0.25252.1000, the 28th of November, 2022, 5, plus or minus, marketing target personal computing available in 110 languages update method Windows Update. Microsoft Store. Windows Server Update Services, SIS. Package Manager Windows Installer, .mc.m6. .msp, Microsoft Store, .apps Bundle, 6, Windows Package Manager Platforms Year 32, x86-64, ARM64 previously, 16-bit x86 December Alpha, MIPS PowerPC, Itanium kernel type Windows NT Family Hybrid. Windows Embedded Compact / Windows CE Hybrid. Windows 9X and earlier monolithic, MS-DOS. Default user interface Windows Shell license proprietary commercial software official website microsoft.com/Windows. Windows 11. Windows 365. Multilingual support. Platform support. Windows CE. Xbox OS. Version Control System FSFJIT. Timeline of releases. Usage share and device sales. Security file permissions. Alternative implementations. See also. References. External links. Genealogy. By marketing role. Microsoft, the developer of Windows, has registered several trademarks, each of which denotes a family of Windows operating systems that target a specific sector of the computing industry. As of 2014, the following Windows families were being actively developed. Windows NT started as a family of operating systems with Windows NT 3.1, an operating system for server computers and workstations. It now consists of 3 operating system subfamilies that are released almost at the same time and share the same kernel. Windows, the operating system for mainstream personal computers and tablets. The latest version is Windows 11. The main competitor of this family is macOS by Apple for personal computers, iPadOS and Android for tablets. C.F. Usage share of operating systems. Market share by category. Windows Server, the operating system for server computers. The latest version is Windows Server 2022. Unlike its client sibling, it has adopted a strong naming scheme. The main competitor of this family is Linux. CF usage share of operating systems. Market share by category. Windows Pay, a lightweight version of its Windows sibling, meant to operate as a live operating system, used for installing Windows on bare metal computers, especially on many computers at once, recovery or troubleshooting purposes. The latest version is Windows Pay 10. Windows IoT, previously Windows Embedded. Initially, Microsoft developed Windows CE as a general-purpose operating system for every device that was too resource-limited to be called a full-fledged computer. Eventually, however, Windows CE was renamed Windows Embedded Compact and was folded under Windows Compact trademark, which also consists of Windows Embedded Industry, Windows Embedded Professional, Windows Embedded Standard, Windows Embedded Handheld and Windows Embedded Automotive. 10. The following Windows families are no longer being developed. Windows 9X, an operating system that targeted the consumer market. Discontinued because of suboptimal performance. PC World called its last version, Windows Me, one of the worst products of all time. 11. Microsoft now caters to the consumer market with Windows NT. Windows Mobile. The predecessor to Windows Phone, it was a mobile phone operating system. The first version was called Pocket PC 2000. The third version, Windows Mobile 2003, is the first version to adopt the Windows Mobile trademark. The last version is Windows Mobile 6.5. Windows Phone, an operating system sold only to manufacturers of smartphones. The first version was Windows Phone 7, followed by Windows Phone 8, and Windows Phone 8.1. It was succeeded by Windows 10 Mobile, which is now also discontinued. Version history. The term Windows collectively describes any or all of several generations of Microsoft operating system products. These products are generally categorized as follows: early versions. Windows 1.0, the first version, released in 1985. The history of Windows dates back to 1981, when Microsoft started work on a program called Interface Manager. It was announced in November 1983, after Apple Lisa, but before the Macintosh, under the name Windows. But Windows 1.0 was not released until November 1985. 12. Windows 1.0 was to compete with Apple's operating system, but achieved little popularity. Windows 1.0 is not a complete operating system, rather, it extends MS-DOS. The shell of Windows 1.0 is a program known as the MS-DOS Executive. Components included calculator, calendar, card file, clipboard viewer, clock, control panel, notepad, paint, reversi, terminal and write. Windows 1.0 does not allow overlapping windows. Instead, all windows are tiled. Only modal dialog boxes may appear over other windows. Microsoft sold as included Windows development libraries with the C development environment, which included numerous Windows samples. 13. Windows 2.0 was released in December 1987, and was more popular than its predecessor. It features several improvements to the user interface and memory management. 14. Windows 2.03 changed the OS from tiled windows to overlapping windows. The result of this change led to Apple Computer filing a suit against Microsoft alleging infringement on Apple's copyrights, eventually settled in court in Microsoft's favor in 1993. 15. 16. Windows 2.0 also introduced more sophisticated keyboard shortcuts and could make use of expanded memory. Windows 2.1 was released in two different versions, Windows/286 and Windows/386. Windows/386 uses Virtual 8086 mode of the Intel 80386 to multitask several DOS programs and the paged memory model to emulate expanded memory using available extended memory. Windows/286, in spite of its name, runs on both Intel 8086 and Intel 80286 processors. It runs in real mode but can make use of the high memory area. In addition to full Windows packages, there were runtime-only versions that shipped with early Windows software from third parties and made it possible to run their Windows software on MS-DOS and without the full Windows feature set. The early versions of Windows are often thought of as graphical shells, mostly because they ran on top of MS-DOS and use it for file system services. 17. However, even the earliest Windows versions already assumed many typical operating system functions, notably, having their own executable file format and providing their own device drivers, timer, graphics, printer, mouse, keyboard and sound. Unlike MS-DOS, Windows allowed users to execute multiple graphical applications at the same time, through cooperative multitasking. Windows implemented an elaborate, segment-based, software virtual memory scheme, which allows it to run applications larger than available memory. Code segments and resources are swapped in and thrown away when memory became scarce. Data segments moved in memory when a given application had relinquished processor control. Windows 3.x. Windows 3.0, released in 1990. Windows 3.0, released in 1990, improved the design, mostly because of virtual memory and loadable virtual device drivers, VXDS, that allow Windows to share arbitrary devices between multitask DOS applications. 18. Windows 3.0 applications can run in protected mode, which gives them access to several megabytes of memory without the obligation to participate in the software virtual memory scheme. They run inside the same address space, where the segmented memory provides a degree of protection. Windows 3.0 also featured improvements to the user interface. Microsoft rewrote critical operations from C into assembly. Windows 3.0 was the first version of Windows to achieve broad commercial success, selling 2 million copies in the first 6 months. 1920. Windows 3.1, made generally available on the 1st of March 1992, featured a facelift. In August 1993, Windows 4 Workgroups, a special version with integrated peer-to-peer networking features and a version number of 3.11, was released. It was sold along with Windows 3.1. Support for Windows 3.1 ended on December 31, 2001. 21. Windows 3.2, released 1994, is an updated version of the Chinese version of Windows 3.1. 22. The update was limited to this language version, as it fixed only issues related to the complex writing system of the Chinese language. 23. Windows 3.2 was generally sold by computer manufacturers with a 10-disk version of MS-DOS that also had simplified Chinese characters in basic output and some translated utilities. Windows 9X. The next major consumer-oriented release of Windows, Windows 95, was released on the 24th of August, 1995. While still remaining MS-DOS based, Windows 95 introduced support for native 32-bit applications, plug-and-play hardware, preemptive multitasking, long file names of up to 255 characters, and provided increased stability over its predecessors. Windows 95 also introduced a redesigned, object-oriented user interface, replacing the previous Program Manager with the Start menu, taskbar, and Windows Explorer shell. Windows 95 was a major commercial success for Microsoft. Ina Fried of CNET remarked that by the time Windows 95 was finally ushered off the market in 2001, it had become a fixture on computer desktops around the world. 24. Microsoft published 4 OEM service releases, OSR, of Windows 95, each of which was roughly equivalent to a service pack. The first OSR of Windows 95 was also the first version of Windows to be bundled with Microsoft's web browser, Internet Explorer. 25. Mainstream support for Windows 95 ended on the 31st of December, 2000, and extended support for Windows 95 ended on December 31, 2001. 26. Windows 95 was followed up with the release of Windows 98 on the 25th of June, 1998, which introduced the Windows driver model, support for USB composite devices, support for ACP, hibernation, and support for multi-monitor configurations. Windows 98 also included integration with Internet Explorer 4 through Active Desktop and other aspects of the Windows Desktop Update, a series of enhancements to the Explorer shell which were also made available for Windows 95.